Guess what, everybody? Uncuffed is back. Episode number 19. I have a very, very special guest with me today. She's actually my favorite Lucena Herrera I've ever met. And I've met only one of them, but she's my favorite. And Miss Lucena Herrera, I've known you for a while now. You have a very, very interesting background from all the way from working at the Raider Image and then becoming a Raiderette and then, becoming an actress in the Bay Area. And now you're an actress down in LA and all these different things that had a pleasure of watching you do and accomplish. And something tells me you just getting started down there in LA. So can you do me a favor and introduce yourself?
Hi. Yes, I'm Lucena Herrera, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I was really surprised. When you called me, you're like, I want to interview you. I was like, really? Like, okay. Yeah, but I'm very flattered. Thank you. But yeah, you have seen a lot of my journey.
Yeah, you remind me of a Bay Area based Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
No, I mean, just because I've seen your energy you put in, and you're a method actress anyway, and she brings it every role she takes on and stuff like that, and I want to come back to like where you grew up and all that stuff and everything, but right now you're in LA living your dream, huh?
Yeah, I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream of what it is to be in the industry as an actress. I work front and back of the lens. So I work production as well.
Wow.
And I also work, and then I'm an actress and I work in the front. So I'm very much in my world and stuff. So I'm really blessed about that because for a very long time there, I had to, you got to balance it, right? You get a job. I worked on Air Talent as well for Telemundo, Univision. So I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
So I would have to step away and go to an audition and, you know what I mean? And then like circle back. Or when I was in the Bay Area, holding a job and then doing the auditions was tough. And now I fully say that I work in production and I'm an actress. So like, that's literally what I concentrate my time on out here. So it's been a journey to get here.
So you grew up in the Bay Area?
Yes, correct.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Union City, California.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So guys, funny story about Union City. Everybody knows I'm a filmmaker. I directed like 6 or 7 short films now. So our third short film, my buddy Cisco Ortega said, dude, for your main actress on your next film, you have to check out Miss Lucena Herrera. And I was like, you know what? I know her from the days when she cheered she was Raiderettes and all that stuff. And I thought she was getting more into acting and all that stuff, but I haven't really seen her work. And then he put me on a couple links to see a couple films you've done already. And I'm just like, wow, this girl's good. Not only is she's super funny, your comedic timing is like off the charts, and you can burn a hole in a steel beam if you need to because how serious you are and you're trying to drive your point home. And and we went back to the roots, which was Union City, when I asked you, hey, I want to have an interview. I want to present you with the opportunity to be an actress in our film. And we met at the I think TJ Fridays, in Union City.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like you want to go back and stay grounded into your roots. And so that was meaningful to me to be able to go there, and you're very, very professional. The funny thing about it was that you're very careful though too, remember?
Yeah, but it worked out.
Yeah, so as an actress, you have to always kind of make sure you are cautious. What ended up happening is that Lucena had a friend of hers in the crowd who I didn't know. So she's like, I don't know who this Kenny Shed guy is, I mean, he's a director and he's talking about offering me this role, but you can never know too much about the business, right? So you always have to be cautious. And that's one thing I know about you is, you're not going to be anybody's fool.
Yeah, no, well, I know who you were. Like, I knew who you were for sure. Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah. I'm just like, I
knew exactly who you were. Yeah, no, I think when I approach anything like a story or anything like that, I do go in with a level of, I would say, professionalism, and a caution. I mean, it's just certain things that I've been through in the industry that, you just have to kind of look for and stuff. And also too, for me, I'm the type of person that, as an actor, I consider myself more, I would say, have a lot more instinct, empathetic. I could feel a lot. So that vibe and all that means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And yeah, so when we met, it was a great vibe. You know what I mean? And it ultimately it worked out and had a wonderful time filming with you.
Yeah. Lucena killed it. When I watched, she played a very important role in our film Karma, and she just set the tone. And I'm gonna attach a link to Karma on our when we post this episode. You gotta see her. I mean, she just, and I was a new kind of director, and she had this calming factor to me, where it's just like, hey, it's gonna be okay, because a lot of stuff went wrong behind the scenes. Lucena, you said you're doing behind the camera, in front of the camera now. Behind the camera in the scenes, which I didn't know, we had producers stealing money. We had, all these different cast members not doing anything and just hanging out and just kind of, I don't know. It was really, really weird. And it was just like, there was several key people who, like yourself, who made Karma what it was. And then once we were able to round up the people who their heart and soul was into this project, we really nailed it. And it was just a pleasure watching you work. And, that was the time when we had the guest appearance by Sebastian Janikowski. You made him, you put him at ease too.
Yeah, no, he was really good on the film. Yeah, that was really cool to be a part of. And, and like you said, same thing with creators, directors, writers and stuff. They got to be very cautious with what's going on behind the scenes too, because sometimes there are people that are not. And I didn't know that, Kenny. I didn't know that they were doing that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I didn't know really at the time. And that's why I think it's so important that we had you on as our guest, because, you look at film from the inside out. I mean, it's not like an engine for making money for you. This is your livelihood. You put your heart and soul in the role that you take on. If it's a compromising role that you don't approve of, you're not going to take that role. And that's what I knew from the very beginning. So, me having two daughters, both who at some point they want to get into the industry and all that stuff, and the entertainment industry, being able to hear this type of insight is very critical, because it's great being in front of the camera and having all these great roles, but at the same time, there's just as many snakes out there in Hollywood too. And that snake on our film set and our crew almost caused my ship to sink, because he stole about maybe close to $7,000 from our production, and this was money that was supposed to go to cast and crew, and it went to him.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well, and it happens, and you know what, and to be honest about those type of situations is a great thing to teach other people in regards to what to look out for. And sometimes, this is what I tell people. I said, try to focus on your craft and try to focus on the art and the message that you're trying to bring from this craft. You know what I mean? Try to focus on that. Obviously, the business and all that stuff, it is very hairy, and you gotta know, you gotta know. I always tell people, you're gonna get clipped. You know what I mean?
You can do about it, huh?
Here and there, you might get clipped. You know what I mean? Because there are people out here that, they're very vampire-ish. That's what I call them. Very vampire. They're very charismatic, and they come and, they say, oh, I could do this and that, and they woo you, right? And then it's like to do that. So you just have to be what it is, have discernment. And I've been through it. You've been through it, but you learn from that, right? So when you go into your next, production, or as an actress or on production, you understand that. So you basically, learn to protect yourself for more. And honestly, I've seen it happen to people that, it happens to the best of us. And the higher you get, I've seen it happen with there's millions involved. You know what I mean? And
really,
and it happens and stuff. And I try to and like I said, learn, understand the business of film, understand all that stuff. But there is gonna be that, and you're gonna learn. And as you learn, you just get better, and you just let it go, and you're just like, oh, it is what it is, because and that's something that makes that is sad, because a true creative, it's about the art, right? And and it's like you're creating this art, it's a message for the world, and you want to protect it. It's like a kid that you birth. It's a creation. You want to protect it. And so I just advise everyone to, just keep that in the back of your head. Like when you're creating or building teams, you know?
Yeah. Did you go down to LA pretty much on your own?
I did.
I thought so.
Yeah. No, I did. I left from one day to the next. I literally left from one day to the next. Yeah, my dad. So my dad was both my parents. I love my mom, my dad. They are creatives at heart, super creatives. And my dad was the person that kind of instilled in me in regards to acting. You could say he was my first coach. Oh, wow. And so my dad took me to my first audition. My dad got me my first audition ever. No. And and he took me to, it was in San Jose, California. Uh-huh. And it was San Jose, California. He took me, waited right outside. And he always told me, he said, I think you have it. I think you can do it. And my dad would, something with my dad, we would always share stories. We love stories, mythology. My dad loved philosophy. My dad loved all that stuff. And so my dad would work with me unknowing, like games, you know what I mean? And he would always tell me, one thing I want you to do, even if this doesn't, you don't want to be an actress, or like, you don't want to go further in this road, is I at least want to teach to express yourself. Always express yourself. Never keep anything. If you want to say something, say it. If you want to express yourself, don't hold it in, but I'm teaching you how to do that and how to touch and stuff. And so, I'm grateful for him. But when I moved out here, my dad had passed. Yeah. And I think after that, I just left. I just left 6 months later, and I think I kind of ran to something that I knew was familiar to him and I. That was a comfort. Wow. You know what I mean? And stuff. Yeah. And I just left. I literally left. I had no job. I had nothing. I was working with Univision. I was on a 2-week hiatus, and I just sat in my room and was like, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna jump over there and see what I can do. And lucky enough, I figured it out in 2 weeks and stuff. So I just felt like my dad wanted me to do that. I was fortunate enough, because I worked really hard, to have my dad actually see me on the silver screen right before he passed, and that was with Fruitvale Station. So my dad helped prep me and stuff for that, and then, which was a really great thing. And then he passed, and then I came to LA. When I got to LA, I was like, okay, what do I do? I think it was just meant to be. I got on 2 pilots, and 1 pilot lifted, and I stayed ever since.
Go girl! Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you just kind of have to. I just did it. I just threw myself out. Like, let's just go. Let's do it.
You did realize that you're talking about going to one of the harshest places in the world, right? LA, Hollywood. You say, nope, I don't care, I'm going.
So, and that's the thing though, I didn't have that perception when I came here, you know what I mean? And I came with such a big heart, and I still have a big heart, and I still was very oh my God, I'm excited. I still had that curiosity and that excitement and in me. And that's one thing, if I can say anything to any actor or anyone that wants to enter into this world, it's I try to do as much as I could at home. Sure. Do you understand? I try to touch every single corner in the Bay Area, from film to television to broadcasting to all that. I mean, I was fortunate enough to work with great people like yourself. You know what I mean? I was able to work with great, directors and that are doing great things now, in the industry, huge things now. And
the director of Fruitvale Station.
Yeah, I know, right? His career has been so magical to see it, and that, and also other people from that production are doing great things as well. And it's been so great to see that, and inspiring, but I always tell people, do as much as you can at home, get around as much as you can, build. I was doing podcasting in the Bay Area, before it was cool. And I was doing that, and also doing now that, I just did so much. I just try to put my hands into so much that that way I always told myself, when I go into the gauntlets, right? LA is a gauntlet. When I go to the gauntlet, I always said that, I at least have a resume, or at least I have a sense what I want and what to expect to a certain degree. I worked with great, these, and now I'll be real with you, because I did that in the Bay Area and coming to LA. So when I work on a set, or when I work as an actor or whatever, I understand what it feels like when you have a good, you feel it on the set. You feel a vibe. You feel like everything is working well. Everything is from the lighting to the director to, there's a certain vibe that you feel, and everyone's working like together, and it's a machine, and it's a great vibe, and those are the things that tend to take off. You know what I mean? And I learned that a big time in the Bay Area, and I'd be like, well, this set feels different, and then I would compare it. And when I came out to LA, that was a great tool for me to really use that and identify certain things. But again, my job as an actor is to show up and to get my character's needs met, regardless of what's going on around me. You know what I mean? So it's not even about me. It's about the message and the art and what my character needs.
Is the Bay Area kind of the stepping stone into LA? Can you ever see Bay Area film being on the level of LA?
Absolutely.
Really?
I've always wanted that. Like I think of people, that I've worked with in the Bay Area.
See, this is what
we have Skywalker Ranch out, in the Bay Area. Like, we have George Lucas. I mean, we have every single landscape that you need in the Bay Area, you know what I mean, to film. And I've always wanted that, like for it to go to for the Bay Area to be a bigger hub of film, because a lot of great stuff comes out of the Bay Area, a lot. And we have our own culture there, which is very different. I think, the Bay Area is I always thank God that I was born in the Bay Area. I'll say I'm a Bay Area, you know what I mean? Forever and always and stuff, because it just has such rich culture. And yeah, I feel like more films should be coming out of there. Like I said, when I was working in the Bay Area, I mean, I was lucky enough to work on good films, you know what I mean? And they're always filming up there. There's a lot of commercial up there in the Bay Area. Yes, I would love it to be the hub. I think if I'm correct, if people know about Niles Canyon, you know about Niles Canyon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if I don't, I would say yeah.
Yeah.
That's the name of the business.
Yeah, but Niles Canyon, I mean, that's where Charlie Chaplin filmed his stuff. And if you go into Niles Canyon right outside of Fremont and you go into Niles, they still have a museum of Charlie Chaplin's things. They have, the train that he used, I forget the name of the film, but that he used to film in there and stuff. So, I mean, the Bay Area has a great film and TV culture, really big. And I just, but LA is it is the Mecca, you could say. Everyone from around the world comes here for film and for the entertainment industry. But I would tell anyone that's in the Bay Area, or say you don't really know and you want to come to California and you want to kind of ease your way in, I would start in the Bay. I would. That's
a great game plan. And
yeah, I would.
One thing you're seeing about me is that I'm pretty serious about this filmmaking stuff too. As to reciprocate what you're putting out there, I believe in the same thing. I have some partners who they're not actors or whatever, they're crew guys who are getting prepped and ready to go down to LA. And I'm just like, wow, you're going to LA too? But it's the same thing of what you just said, Lucena, is hone your craft down here in the Bay and then head down to LA, because it doesn't do anybody any good to go down to LA and just kind of get overwhelmed. You can really...
You will get overwhelmed.
Because you will, right?
You will. Like, yeah, if you don't, like I said, suggestion, I mean, everyone's different, right? Everyone is different. Everyone has a different upbringing and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to say, if you want to come out here and do it, I mean, there are stories like that people come out here with no experience or anything like that. I would just suggest that try to just do as much as you can wherever you're at home. If it is from schooling to any of that, try to do as much as you can in the at home. And now that there is video audition and you can audition, you send videos in of yourself, and I mean you could technically be at home, you know what I mean, and send in a video audition to LA, and if you get it, then you cross that bridge when you come to it, right? And you just get out here and stuff, and you have a reason to get out here. I tell people that all the time. People ask me like, what should I do? I was like, especially in the Bay Area, it's like, get on SF casting, get on, backstage, yes, and then you also, and just get on these sites and then try to elevate yourself, or try to get as much experience as you can, maybe do student films, to just get used to that, and then continue to grow. And then once you have reel, there are some really good agencies in the Bay Area, really good agents. I had a really, really good agent in the Bay Area that got me like really good stuff and stuff. So there is great opportunity there. People, I always tell people like, yeah, LA's great, and yeah, I think you should come here in your career. You know what I mean? At least to be here and be, because there is a lot of opportunity. I mean, these are just the turnaround out here. I mean, there's this morning I saw a set. You know what I mean? There's a lot of opportunity out here. You know what I mean?
Well, so we were talking about that. Is that, how is the set still going on with this writer strike going on?
So I mean, there's already been done. The script has already been done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's already done. So then they're doing, I mean, there's different situations. There's other people like people are writing, you know, may write their own stuff. But but like I would say like the network shows, some of the bigger films, you know, films out here, you know, from what I have heard is, you know, they're protesting on some of these sets too.
Oh, wow.
Like showing up to some of these sets from what I've heard and stuff. And, you know, in this protest with the writers, you know, guild and stuff, you know, I feel it. Like, I understand. They're fighting for better pay.
Yeah.
They're fighting for better pay. They're fighting for, you know, for that. And, you know, I believe that everyone should be paid for their contribution and for your work. You know what I mean? And if you should be able to live, if you're on a hit, I would say if you're on a hit show, right? And you're a writer for a hit show, like, you deserve to be able to pay your rent comfortably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the case with a lot of these writers?
From what I've been reading and from what you know, I've been told by certain writers that I know, no.
Wow.
No, they're not. The pay is not what it should be, and you know, it's, you know, and I believe that people deserve to be paid right, especially if it's a film that's breaking in, you know, a lot of money. Like, why not break them off? So. And I'm from the Bay Area, right? So we come from the land of the protesters, like, you know what I mean? Like we are activists, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I come from the Bay, like I'm ready to stick up for justice and rights, which is another great thing of, you know, being a Baydestrian, you would say, and, you know, being from the Bay Area, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, if they feel that they are not being treated correctly or anything, then they do have that right to protest. And I really want them to get what they want. Because again, it goes back to the vibe, right?
Yeah.
It's like if your writers are feeling good, right? And they're gonna, right? If your writers are feeling good, you know, then they're gonna give you your best, you know, their best. And then the flow goes out, right? And the flow goes to the actors and to the thing. And I just believe in that. I actually love, you know, I played sports. Obviously you play sports, right?
I dabbled in it a little bit.
Yeah. So the team, right? So when you play on a team, right? Yeah. When everyone plays their position correctly, it's a vibe, right? It's a force. Everyone's sync. The vibe is good, right? Everything is going and then everything going. And what? You touchdown, we win. We fucking win the game, right? Yeah. So having a lot of sports in my background and playing sports my whole life and dancing, like that's what I believe the vibe should be in these creation areas, right? It's like a sport, like it's, you know, everyone play, you know, and if a section is feeling off or not being, how should you say, appreciated in the, you know, in a certain way, you know, I can see that can affect business, right? Like, because look what it's doing now. Things are shut down. Like, people are protesting.
I saw what Lucena's talking about firsthand on Karma. You know, we did most of all of her scenes, really, the first day or so of shooting. And so we wrapped her, and then the second day is the scene that happened in the liquor store where we had Sebastian Janikowski, who I believe is going to be in the Hall of Fame as the leading point maker for the Raiders.
Let's go. Yes.
Yeah. So Lucena came on set or location while we're shooting that scene just to check out everybody and to give support. And it just made everything fall into place again, because they were used to seeing Lucena run the show as an actress. And then, you know, and then she made an appearance, and then everybody fed off that, the energy. She'd go to the makeup girl, make sure she was okay. She went to Sebastian, who was nervous as hell. Yeah. He was so nervous.
He did such a good job, though.
He did a great job.
He did so good. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that Sebastian, this is how great of a guy this dude was. The day before that shoot, he had already committed verbally to us to be there. And I wrote the script specifically for him. He did a great job. But the day before that shoot, he had missed like 2 extra points and like a field goal, and the Raiders lost. And it was the darkest cloud over his head, and he couldn't even get out of bed. And so he wasn't even gonna get up to come to the shoot. But somebody called him and said, "Hey, they're dependent on you." So this dude got up and he shrugged off all the, he thought he was going to get criticized. And so when you were there, and then the other crew members, that's Sebastian Janikowski, they all welcomed him, and I welcomed him obviously with open arms. That made him feel so good, and he jumped into character, and he's like, let's do this. And it's that team thing you're talking about.
It is, it very much. And being a part of the organization myself, like with the Raiders, like, it's a team thing, and I wanted to be there. And like I said, it is a vibe. It is a sport, and we should support each other, and we should, for the greatness of the story, of the message of what we're doing there in that moment. You know what I mean? And you could tell the differences on set, but I've always tried to do that. Even to this day, I'll go on set and I say hi to lighting. I say hi to sound. I say hi to everyone that or I'll walk by. Hi, how are you? They're like, and majority of the time, some actors don't speak to production. You know what I mean?
I never quite understood that, but that it's like.
I get it, because they want to be concentrated. They want to show up to set. They don't, you know what I mean? It's almost conserving their energy and stuff like that, which I understand. And I've been like, and sometimes I have to. Okay, I'm going to go over here, conserve my energy. And when I do have these, I'll say, opportunities to meet these amazing people who I consider rock stars, right, behind the lens. So, like, a lot of people don't understand, like, what it takes, yes, the magic in front, obviously, with the actors and being able to do that with their emotions and stuff. But behind the lens, I mean, it's exciting, and it's a whole world, and I appreciate it so much. And when I'm done on set or whatever, I go around and I shake everybody's hand. Hi, great working with you. And that's always been part of, you would say, my work ethic. I just believe strongly in that, and I know that comes from me being in team atmospheres, growing up and playing sports and dance and
parents.
And my parents. And my dad and my mom, to be gracious, because, some of these people are back there like 12, 13 hours, 14 hours carrying things, points, yelling point, moving around to give you as an actor the best lighting, the best sound. You know what I mean? Like, you're my teammate. You know what I mean? And
this is gold, everybody. This is gold. This is so well said, and it's so necessary that our listeners hear this. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's homelessness. There's police protests and stuff like that. Me being a police officer and all that stuff. I'm retired now. I don't know if you knew that, but I don't.
Oh my God! Congrats.
I'm retired now, so I can focus all my time on our films and stuff, and we can talk about it later. There's another project that we have in the works and stuff like that now. But there's so much that that's going on in the world, dampen your spirits, and it's hurtful to see. I think it's on us, the entertainers, to create very special storylines that touch people and make them feel good about themselves and laugh if we need them to laugh. Because if not, things are going to start going downhill very quickly. Because there's a lot of pressure on the actors and actresses to kind of do their thing. But it sounds like you're learning some stuff behind the camera too.
Yes. So I work on production. So I've done production supervising. I came out here, I've PA'd, I've done pretty much everything from makeup to like everything behind the lens, and production management. And so with that has allowed me to really understand. And I wanted to do that. I want to know everything about my world. I want to know everything about my craft, front and back. Because when I one day, direct, or when I one day have my own projects that I lift off, I know what's happening around me. I could be like, the lighting's off. I could be, sound is not picking up. You know what I mean? And understand, so I could be a captain in my ship, right? And that's the goal. And I'm a student. I always try to carry myself as a student out here. I do go to school, also out here in Los Angeles for theater and acting. So I'm constantly, trying to sharpen that. I try to do my homework every day with that. I mean, for me, this is definitely a vocation. It's definitely a dedication that I've had to this. Because like you were saying, there are things things in the world that are tough. I mean, Los Angeles has a big homeless community,
Yeah.
and a lot of things happen out here as well, and not even just here, but just around the world. That and as me being, I'm a very empathetic person. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that, and I do believe that creatives like yourself and myself, I know for myself, I know what my purpose is here. It's not, my purpose is to make people feel and think by way of my craft. And it, and that is my body, who I am. It is an instrument, and I need to continue to practice and sharp tune that, and continue to move forward and bring these messages and these stories to life, to give hope in the world, right? Depending on the story, hope, laughter, you know what I mean? To make somebody that doesn't feel, right? Make them think, and make them and enter them, and not enter them, wow, but like what I mean?
That could be edited out.
Touch their heart. Jesus. No, but like touch their heart. My bad, rewind. Bring it back. No,
live theater.
Live theater. To touch their hearts, and I do believe it is a big responsibility if you dare to take the challenge, right? If you dare to come into this challenge.
It's pretty simple, huh? Sounds like the guidelines and the rules are pretty simple. Just, if you're going to take on this amazing challenge, just do everything you did to prepare for it, because it's just keeping it real. I mean, everything that you've said today is just, you're a good person. Continue to be a good person, even as you grow with your knowledge on set, and it's just treat people well. The days of backstabbing and just being these people who just, they're jealous. I'm like you. I got people jealous of me all the time because I think out my next moves. I don't retire from being a police officer and okay, what do I do now? No, I already have something already set up. And as I'm listening to you, that's the reason why I respect everything that you've done so far, because it's been a systematic way. You have a plan. But let me put you on the spot though. If you're on set and you have a director, let's just use director, who's just acting like an ass and just treating people wrong and just taking the production down the wrong route for whatever reason, he's either drunk or just didn't prep right and stuff, what are you going to do? Are you going to walk off set and say, no, I'm done with this? Or are you going to pull that director aside? Or how would you fix something like that?
For myself, I would definitely
it's called kshedduncuffed. I gotta hit you with raw.
No, it's because sometimes people that tend to do that, it's because they want a reaction.
Ooh.
And they want people that tend to act like, mean to other people or on set. I mean, it's so unnecessary to even do that. You're already you're already stopping the vibe of your production, right? So for me, it's just, I would probably get silent, right? Mm-hmm. Not allow that to enter, and just stare at the person and have them just go and just not give anything to them. And then I would calmly say, what I need to say. And then that's it. And I would just focus on the task at hand. I mean, if it gets to a certain degree where it's outrageous, which is usually not the case. I've been lucky enough to be on sets, and I've had some directors, and I think it's just me that I just don't like, but I've seen some directors get pissed and say hit their leg with the script and go, gosh, and walk off. You know what I mean? And I just,
not cool.
I've seen that one or two times in my whole career, and I just, it's so cringy, man. If any directors out here, you don't got to do that. You get more with
right?
More bees with honey, right? So it's
bees with honey. I love it.
Yeah,
just totally stealing that.
Yeah. Just be cool. It's almost like in sports, right? Going back to sports, it's I always cringed when I would say I was playing softball or I was playing volleyball, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, gets struck, they strike out, right? And then they come in the dugout and they throw their helmet, and, throw their bat and stuff. Even then, when I would just be why are you doing that? That's not helping the team. You know what I mean? That's just making us all right, I'm going to stand over here. Just makes things awkward. So
you're in the same team, right? And now you're dividing everybody.
Yeah. I'm here to I'm here to help you create something. You know what I mean? And it has to be like that. So I mean, and then there's levels, you know, obviously if it's like out of control and the person's like being abusive, that is a different line. That's like if they're throwing stuff at me or like throwing stuff at me, that's like that is, and as you know, as a police officer, that's assault. Like, you know what I mean? As a police officer, you throw water on somebody, that's assault. Like, you know what I mean? Like so,
things have changed. You just hit it right on the head. Things have, and I was asking that question for a couple different reasons, you know, because I'm trying to remind filmmakers, you know, directors and stuff like that, is that, hey, our game plan has to change too, man. We can't get away with all the stuff that we used to be able to get away with nowadays, man. You will ruin the, like you said, the vibe, and your whole production will just go downhill, just like Rust. You know, I mean, they were literally trying to tell everybody, hey, the chemistry's not good, the morale is not good. We're not getting paid well. Something else was wrong. The food's not where it needs to be, and the head execs weren't listening. And then in the end, it slowly started going downhill. So yeah, if you ask me, did I learn anything from Karma? What was going on behind the scenes, which I didn't know about? I make sure we have a zero drama production nowadays at all. So anytime I see anybody who's going to have drama on any level, we nip that in the bud, because no, we can't have a downward spiral like that happen again.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and that's what it is. That's what it's all about. Like that's, and I'm not saying it's different, right, for different people and for different reasons. And I'm just giving like the way I would, you know, I have tried to approach things in my life and things that I have seen work, and then other things that now I look back, I'm like, I see why that didn't play out, you know, and so the formula for me is just like, be cool, like do your job, play your position.
That's a Raiderette right there, man. Y'all don't get fazed by anything. It sounds like you guys, like you just had a nice time with your Raiderette sisters down at the reunion a little bit ago.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, obviously having that training, as well as being when I was a Raiderette, that also did help me as well in my career as well. You know, it's a team. It is a team, camaraderie. Everyone hit your marks. Everyone hit your, you know, be precise, be dedicated, be good to yourself, treat your body good. You know what I mean? To do that. And yeah, that was a great experience. And recently we just had our reunion. So that was really, really nice too. Crazy. I didn't see you though. Out there.
Well, it was like a million people.
There was just tons of people, I know. But it was a beautiful experience. And that's something that I'm extremely grateful to the Raider organization forever. I am Raider Nation till I die.
No, girl.
No matter where they go.
The Raider organization rented out this big old Top Golf building, man, exclusively for the Raiderettes. Had every level just was for the Raiderettes. And it was such a great show. It was so many people, everybody from who I talked to, you know, my wife was there. And everybody seemed like they had just a fantastic time. And that's like we were talking about, is you taking care of your family, who you're working with, man. You know, it's really kind of simple as that, you know, no matter what you're doing. Do you have any new film projects on the horizon?
Actually, one just kind of, it's more of like a web series. It actually dropped yesterday. It's called Amigas y Amores. And y Amores. Yeah, it's a comedy, very high camp comedy type of, you know, sorry, give me one sec. I got two pommies in the house.
Got it.
Pommy lover.
Hey, Pommy.
Hey, pommies, right? So they...
what are their names?
Archie and Alfie.
Okay.
Archie and Alfie, they're beautiful. So, sorry, where was I?
We were talking about Amigas Mi Amores.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Circling back. So, yeah, so the something that just came out recently, it's called Amigas y Amores, and it's a very funny series. It's right now it's a web series. And it's really fun. I had a really good time filming it. It's a 10 episode series. I play Carmen, and the lead is her name is Selena. She's Selena Selena has titties, and I don't know if you're familiar. Yeah, like I don't know if you're familiar with the like RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know if you.
I do.
Yeah. So that show, I mean, it is. I mean, it is the fandom of RuPaul's Drag Show. Well, Selena's titties is was a contestant. Yeah, super funny contestant on the show, and has a huge following. Amazing person to work with. And a show was created around, Selena STDs, and I play her best friend on there. And if you are a Drag Race, part of the fandom, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. And it's just really funny, high camp, just really, really, really funny. And it's very bilingual. And it's just about our friendship as friends. I'm her frenemy. And yes. So I actually get to be like a mean person. Like I get to play something that, I get to be, very just in her face and mean, and, and then as the series goes on, you get to see why. And it's a really good, I had a wonderful time. So that's actually, the first episode just came out now. And I could send you the links to that if you want to check it out. It's really funny. Look it up on YouTube, and it's really great. The production company that went behind it, amazing, really, really amazing. To work with. The director was amazing as well. And so, yeah, that's what I have coming out as far as recently that I have.
When you said it's 10 episodes, how many weeks or months did you guys spend on production of the whole series?
Okay, I'm going to tell you this. So the episodes are smaller. They're like, they're smaller. They're not that long. So to be honest with you, we filmed that in one day.
10 episodes then, really?
In one day, 10 episodes from the very morning, because we were on set in a where it has, a studio, where it has a bedroom, it had everything we needed. So it was just literally like shifting, doing that. And again, everybody worked well. Everyone was just, you had to, because there was no time to spare. Absolutely no time to spare. And and we did it. And like I said, and it kind of fell in my lap. And that's what I'm saying with the sisterhood of the Raiderettes. A Raiderette, her sister that I'm really close with, pretty much recommended me to this production, because she had overheard that the other actress that was going to be in it didn't had to say no at the very last minute. So then they were like kind of scrambling, and then a friend of mine just kind of said, hey, I know someone that, whatever. And then we talked, and it worked out. And I'm a professional. I was able to, absorb 10 scripts, and we did it. We busted it out. Yeah.
Can we give the friend a little shout out at all, or is it like covert? Hey, if you give a shout out, she's gonna ask for agent.
Oh, my Patty Arana.
Your sister?
Yeah, that's that Patty Arana. She hooked that up. Yeah. So that was really nice of her, and it was all meant to be. And when we were on set, it was just all meant to be. It worked out perfectly. The world was really fun, and it was a really cool experience to work with them and stuff. So we'll see to work with everyone.
Hearing you sound so lively and just so happy that everything, how it turned out, it couldn't have been easy. There's no way in the world that you could do 10 episodes of anything, in one day without much time off or whatever. But that just shows a tribute to your professionalism. Was it coffee or Red Bulls or Monster drinks all through the day, or you just?
No, it was just pure. For me, the pure excitement of actually trying of doing this. I when I heard that this was the goal, I sat back and I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna do this and stuff. But it was so fun. It was so fun and so exciting. And again, the episodes they're not as long as the normal. So it was doable. And so now it really just told me, anything is doable, because I literally did that. And it was wardrobe change, hair, all that stuff in matter of, but everyone was just so precise and so on top of it, and already knew what was going to come next, already knew what we had to do, and so professional and so amazing and you can see that energy come through the lens, right? And to the viewers. And I hope, that people are enjoying it and stuff. So that's out. And so the first episode's out. There's 9 more. And then in the future, there is maybe an opportunity that I'm just waiting on. with yeah, fingers crossed and stuff. Can't really talk. I'll just say maybe Hulu. So we'll see and stuff. Yeah. So we'll see with that. But you know, to me, it's I do my homework every day. I mean, I live in the store. I read some of the scripts that I have now or any other script and just try to jump into that world. And then when I was in school, being in school, like, being able to perform in school, those are also great opportunities to act and to do, I want to say act, such a word, but to
you don't like that word, huh?
Yeah. Not to act. I'm to maybe not perform, but to be able to, I would say, get to express. Right?
I would have been disappointed if you didn't find that perfect word.
Yeah, to express, and so that's a great thing, and that's another great thing that I tell people, that if they want to get into acting, I think in anything, if you're in the medical world, if you're, you constantly have to study to sharpen that, constantly have to study, to do that. So I recommend anyone taking class. I'm very blessed to have worked with really great teachers out here in LA, and and to be guided by them, which is really amazing. And just do that, immerse yourself, because then you start going around people that are like-minded, that are that are empathetic, you begin to find a tribe, right, and stuff. And that's something that you want to find, especially if you come to LA, and like I said, and over the time it hasn't been easy, and I just know that I've gotten this far, so I just need to continue to keep going and going and going, and I can do this until I'm 80, 90 and stuff. And I hope God blesses me with that opportunity. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's about the stories, and it's about the message. It's definitely something above myself. It's not no more necessarily like, oh my God, I want to be, famous, or do. I know that comes with that, and obviously notoriety, and people know that, and I love people, so that's okay. But for me, it really much is about the craft, and very much about the power of film, and the power of what we accomplish by that. It's a very beautiful thing, and I very much love it, right? And you have to love something, especially in this industry. It's it can get tough, you know what I mean? But just try to stay as grounded, try to do as much, love yourself, be kind to yourself. Yeah, just be kind to yourself, love yourself, and just have faith that things will work out. That's where I live. I live off of faith, and and I'm very grateful to God for everything.
Hey, so as we wrap this up, is it okay if I come across like a hopeful actress out here in the Bay who they're wanting to make that step to LA? Are you okay with me kind of like giving them your email or something like that, where they can reach out to you and they can kind of hear these keywords to help prepare them for that? Because you are the perfect example of someone who has stayed grounded, a fantastic soul, and can provide the perfect advice and route towards going further, to make sure that they don't come across any type of demons. And if they do come across some demons, here's some little bit of tidbits. See, I just did what you did.
I'll be like, make God your best friend. That's what I'll say.
and that's words of wisdom right there. Make God your best friend.
For sure.
I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today, my friend. It's been a joy to watch you rise and continue rising. I look forward to looking at your new web series, and I might end up sending you a script here and there.
Send it over.
I'm not. I don't want you to take it because we're friends. I want you to take it because we're gonna make a bunch of people happy with this film. Okay.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely. Send it over. I would love to see it. And, thank you for having me on. I'm very humbled. I still feel like I have so much more to do and go. But thank you for believing in me and always believing in me and thinking, I like I said, I don't feel like I'm like, I still have so much more to go, but maybe that's me being hard on myself, but I just,
No.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm very humbled.
Hey, you take care of yourself, okay? Hope to see you soon. And Raiders for life.
Raiders for life. Yeah, let's go.
She's a straight G, y'all. She's the real deal. And thanks again, Lucena. You take care, okay?
Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you.
Hey, can I get you to say K Shed Uncuffed out?
Kshedduncuffed out.
Woo! All right.